If coveting is a sin, one team here might need to ask for forgiveness, sitting just outside the rankings and wanting what their opponent today has, a spot in the top 25. Glad to have you with us from Gerald J. Ford Stadium in Dallas, home to the SMU Mustangs. As we'll see a playoff team from last year, the Nebraska Cornhuskers, taking on a team from the playoff a year ago, the SMU Mustangs. For EA Sports College Football, I'm Reese Davis, David Pollack, and Jesse Palmer with me. Guys, it's time to get it going. And the Huskers will kick it away to start. And it'll come out to the 25. No attempt at a return. Movement from the linebackers trying to mess with the offensive line's assignments. Got room at the 35. That one could really put this drive into high gear as they have a first down at the 37.
You ain't getting by all these guys right up the middle unless your offensive line and your tight ends and everybody is putting in the work up front, committing to blocking. The running back does a great job finding the hole, exploding through. How about that nice, big, huge gain? If I'm the OC, let's call that one again.
That's caught. It's nice. And good coverage by the defense, just a short gain. The Mustangs want to move quickly.
Yeah, and listen, I'm going to move this guy everywhere. He's in the slot this time, but I'm not going to let the defense understand where he's lining up so they can double team him, put him in the slot, put him out wide. Either way, find this guy early and often.
Nice job, defense. You always hear people talk about tackling the catch. You saw it right there. There was nowhere for that receiver to go once he had possession. As a result, no gain.
It'll be third and long. Making side adjustments here. Looking for a man. It's Owens. Unloads to the wideout. He's got it. They're ripping off chunks of yardage. They get it to the 33.
And listen, the defense knew coming into this one, they were going to target him early and often. He is a weapon, and there's no mystery where the quarterback's going to be looking on critical down and distances. Let's see how they're able to cover him throughout the rest of this game.
And the Mustangs are marching down the field. The give out of the gun. They'll knock him down for a loss of a couple.
And that's a great job by the defense, understanding exactly the situation, understanding to stay home, play sound, no matter who gets the football. We're going to run to the football hard. We're going to cage the football, be disciplined. Nice job by the defense.
Hit a little speed bump on this drive. It's 2nd and 12. Wants to go up top. Looking down the middle. Picked off, and the opening drive is stopped with an interception. And they'll drag him down after a good return on the interception.
And on the first drive of the game, this defense does it again. They had 2 last week. They get another one early. This defense has been flying around, ball hawking the football.
the option look. He's out past the 35. And he put his foot in the ground and turned it upfield and turned it into a big play. Great decision to keep it. They gave themselves room to operate with that first play. Now first down from the 37. Gives it on the option. And that's a very productive first down play and bringing up 2nd and 3.
And winning first downs is a priority for a defense, and you can't get bludgeoned. You can't get physically beat at the point of attack. You know the percentages. It's usually pretty good on first down that they're going to run the football. So them getting that big chunk, getting in 2nd and short, not a good job by this defense.
They'll leave it with him. They knock him down, but he's got enough to get it across the line and pick up the first down. Nebraska's had a lot of guys to feed over the years. Mike Rozier, Roger Craig. I am hip. But you don't know who's going to get it with this running attack.
Yeah, but I do know this, Reese. Whoever gets it is going to run the football physically. And Nebraska is going to be very happy. Their fan base will be jacked if they establish the physical ground.
Turning it on! Makes the stop at the 35-yard line. They rip off 15 yards on that one, and they are rolling.
I think it's really important for this offense. They get this guy going early in the game, and they're doing a nice job of that right now. Remember, he's the kind of running back who gets better as the game goes on. That's a really good omen for this offense, considering his success now early.
The Huskers getting set on 1st and 10. Use the play fake, now to throw. A shot toward the end zone. And he will take it in. Touchdown, Cornhuskers!
And so many times the safeties tell the tape, and that's what QBs are studying and reading, and he drops back, and you can tell he sees his receiver coming from the right side, and he knows exactly where he's going to end up with that post, pushes the ball down the field for the big play, got the safety out of position, made the big touchdown throw.
Setting up for the extra point after the first score of the game. And the PAT makes it 7-0. A very efficient 5-play scoring drive. And the score comes on a 35-yard pass for 6. Kickoff unit on the field, and this defense will be called on to protect this lead. And no chance at a return here. They'll start this drive at their own 25. Drive starts from their own 25-yard line. Off the play fake on first down to throw. He's going to fire to the left. And they can't make the connection, going for a big play on first down.
And this QB, you can tell, did a really good job of continuing to buy time, go through his progressions. He wanted to make the big play and even got outside the pocket a little bit to his left and took the deep shot down the field. Just missed.
Try to make up for some of that lost ground on second down. Back to throw, it's Owens. Right on target this time. Breaks into the open. And they get him down at the 43, but this is the kind of explosive play you want to build on.
How nice is it as a quarterback when you don't have to throw post routes to get great stats? No, I can just throw it quickly to one of the fastest players in the entire nation and let him burn this defense.
They used a chunk play to cross midfield, and they've got it 1st and 10 just outside the 40. Makes the catch. It's Cooper. Brought down at the 20-yard line after ripping off the big play.
Get the big-time receiver involved early in the game. That's a huge key for this offense, no matter who they're playing against. But you can see, with his size, with his ability after the catch, this guy is a weapon, and he's putting this defense on alert early.
The Mustangs are in the red zone. Trying to cap this drive with the pass. Quick completion on the out. That one takes it down to the 13-yard line.
I love the anticipation on that throw by the QB on the out route. You got to throw it before the receiver comes out of his break. Nice work.
Second down coming up on this red zone opportunity. From the shotgun, the inside give. Gets it all the way down to the 2-yard line. He was fighting for that end zone.
Defense is going to have their hands full trying to get this guy in the ground, man. He's got some serious moves once he has the ball in his hands.
And the Mustangs kept this drive moving on the ground. Now back to work. On the option. He'll toss it. Touchdown, Mustangs! How about this back staying on track and getting it in on the option?
Great job by the running back scoring on that pitch play off the option. It wasn't easy. He had to make somebody miss and do some dirty work there down inside the 10-yard line, but nice individual effort.
Setting up for the extra point and the tie. And he made the extra point without problem. Both teams wanted to establish the run, and they have done exactly that in the first quarter. We've got a good one going here, and looking forward to keep those vibes rolling here in the second. And we're all square as he's set to kick it away. And it'll come out to the 25. No attempt at a return. First play of the period, first down here. The give to the back. Oh, he's got some space. He's at the 20. And he slipped through the crowd, and he'll house it. Touchdown, Huskers. What an explosive eruption into the end zone by this running back.
And this back does it a lot. That he makes big plays. When you can make big plays like this, it makes everybody's job easier. Oh, we can play action. Oh, we can throw it. But it starts with the run game, and this guy's setting everything up.
And for a quick update, let's go to Kevin Connors in the studio.
All right, guys, got a final score on one of the more intriguing games this week. Iowa State notched a victory in enemy territory, and though it wasn't a dominant win, I'd argue any win away from Ames is worth its weight in gold to the Cyclones. All that speculation all week, and now we know. But something tells me, fellas, we haven't heard the last of either of these teams.
And Kevin Connors keeping an eye on everything all over the country. Sounds like they had a good one there. Coming out on first down with the play fake. Throws to the wideout. It's complete. Really good job to pick up a chunk of yardage and get it out to the 39-yard line.
It's really tough on offenses when defenses know what you got to do. You got to pass the football. They're in man coverage. How about the receiver understanding where the first down is? He smells it. He goes and gets it.
They'll go back to the ground. He's going to lose a yard on that one.
And that's a great play by the defensive end. The best athletes on the field play defensive end. You can ask anybody. Yes, I agree, Jesse Reese. See, they agree with me. Same thing. But you watch them get off the football, make the play. That's why you put your athletes there.
The Mustangs trying to find their way forward after the big loss on the last play. The offense changing the play. Dropping back, it's Owens. Pulls it in, it's Paul. And he gets a big chunk of yardage to the 34-yard line.
Man, this offense is so dangerous, Reese. They've got dudes all over the field that can make plays. There's a big gainer in the pass game.
You get a chunk of yards like that, now the defense is really on its heels. And the Mustangs have it with a 1st and 10. Looking to throw on 1st down. He's got it. Touchdown, SMU! Made the grab and took it on in for the score. The extra point here would tie the game.
And I like this offense. They didn't panic. A lot of times you see offenses panic and want to get back in it when they're down really quickly, and they forced the issue. They stayed patient. They stayed within themselves, and we're an extra point away from being a tied football game.
The returner will field it and try to set up his offense in great field position. Not a lot of space to be found. Good hustle by the coverage team, and they stop him at the 21. Ready to go back to work on offense. The way this game started, you feel as if you have to score a touchdown every time you have it, and now we'll see if they can respond.
Yeah, and I wonder how much pressure that puts on the offense. Jesse, like, you know this is back and forth, and I got to score, and every possession matters so much. What does that do to you as a quarterback?
Well, it puts a lot more pressure on you for sure to feel like I got to make every 3rd down throw. If guys are open vertically down the field, I got to hit them too. We can't let our serve get broken.
Quickly complete. Out across the 30, steps out of bounds at the 31-yard line as they try to put something together.
And these quarterbacks have to really trust their wide receivers that they're going to be disciplined and run to the right route when they're throwing that ball to the outside like that, because those corners are sitting there on the inside, and the worst thing that could happen is to miss inside. And that.
There he goes. Knocked out of bounds at the 46 after the good pickup on that one.
3rd down and inches. Everyone in the stadium knows they're going to be physical and they're going to run the football, but they still executed a good level. Not only picking up the 1st down, chewing up more yardage to make this drive even easier.
Off the play fake on 1st down. Oh, what a play. It's intercepted. Takes it the other way. Inside the 30. Finally brought down, but what a play, not only to get the football, but to flip the field position with the return.
There were a lot of people really excited about what this guy could do. Some were saying he could be an All-American, and he's proving them right. That's already his 2nd interception early in this college football season. Offenses are going to figure it out. They're going to stop throwing this guy's way. You just get in trouble when you try.
Caught in the backfield. It's Singleton. And he cruises his way to the house. Touchdown, Mustangs! A quick strike, just as we expected.
Yeah, and quick strikes are easy when you got such great field position. Obviously, when the offense starts in such a good spot, it puts the defense in a bad position, and the offense takes advantage.
Let's see what he can do with the return. Didn't find any crease in that kickoff coverage, and he'll be stopped at the 17. They've got a little time here to put together a productive drive late in the half. On the move. Finding an escape route. Brought down at the 28, but it's a 10-yard gain. The Cornhuskers headed quickly to the line.
That's a great-looking run there. Nebraska's had such a great lineage at running back. When you think back to...
He unleashes a long one. And that one falls incomplete. They tried to go over the top on 1st down. 2nd down coming up.
Well, This defense was ready for go balls. Against this receiver and his speed, he's one of the fastest in the country. They knew this quarterback was going to try to take the top off the defense. That time they couldn't link up, but if you're on defense, just know they're going to try that play again.
From the gun, give on the inside. They get him stopped at the 32. That's a gain of 4. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. Coming to the line of scrimmage on 3rd down. From the gun, wants to pass. Quick completion on the out route. He'll get it up to the 39 before he's run out of bounds, and this offense just patiently, methodically trying to do work.
And that's good enough for a first down.
And the Huskers are moving quickly down the field. Wide receiver going in motion. To the air on 1st down. Finds his man. It's Bell. They'll get him down, but not before he crosses the 50. He's down to the 49. The Huskers with the 1st and 10. From the gun, running back gets to give. Got enough for the 1st, and he's still going. All down, but he has enough to move the chains.
1st down, physicality wins football games. Being able to run the football and create balance. And right here, just choose up another 1st down. Gives you another chance to maybe continue to run the football.
And I feel like this guy, too, is just an explosive play waiting to happen. His vision, his quickness, and he's got a burst. If you give this guy just a crease, he's going to hit it. And right now, he's doing some damage on this defense.
Off play action on 1st down. Throws to the tight end. Complete to the left. A quick tackle made, but he's got plenty for the 1st down.
Well, you're seeing the balance this offense has and how they can create explosive plays in a variety of ways. We just saw one come in the run game, and now you see one coming in the passing game. I'll tell you, they've got this defense on their heels.
The Cornhuskers had tough field position to start this drive, but they've been relentless in moving the ball methodically down the field. He's tackled right at the 10-yard line, and they're trying to cash in on this drive. Going to work on 2nd down in the red zone, and still some ground to cover to pick up that 1st down. Here comes the option. Quick toss. He's brought down at the 6, but the defense feeling the heat to make a stop here. Timeout called here by the defense. It's their 1st of the half. And now a chance to pull even as we get late here in the 1st half. Motion from the wideout. Looking to throw. Here's the heat. And they get to the quarterback and knock him down back at the 16. The defense going to stop the clock with a timeout. They want to make sure they have everybody on the same page. After that disastrous 1st down, they're way back on 2nd and goal. Back to pass. Fires to the wideout. Trying to find the end zone. Touchdown, Nebraska. The offense cashing it in on that drive.
Great job of execution in the passing game. QB and his target on the exact same page. The extra point now is going to tie this thing up. And they've got some real momentum here heading in at halftime.
looking for the tie with the extra point. And they did tack on the extra point. And let's check in with Kevin Connors in the studio. Kevin?
All right, guys, a little update on what else is happening in college football this weekend. Cal has had almost no answers today, and when they've had them, that other sideline has changed the questions. A puzzling performance in Berkeley. They're trailing by 14 to Oklahoma State. For now, it's back to you fellas, but of course, if anything changes, you'll see it right here.
Thanks for the update on that one, Kevin. Let us know when it goes final. They'll put this one in play. First snap of the drive from the 25. Looking downfield, it's Owens. Shoots it to the left. All kinds of room to throw that one in there. He's going to be out of bounds, but not before he gets it to midfield.
Well, this offense told us coming in they were going to challenge this secondary early and often. They were going to use their speed to their advantage and take advantage of this quarterback's touch and arm talent. And already in the second quarter, they've got over 200 yards thrown.
That's quite a start to a drive, and now they'll snap it from midfield. Wants to throw on first down. Intercepted. A first-half turnover can swing momentum. Gets it to the 37. Clock stops to move the chains.
And they'll take over.
And this is obviously not a great start for this quarterback here. 2 interceptions already in this game. He's got to do a much better job with his decision-making.
We'll see them really hit the speed button on the tempo here in the final minute of the first half. Going right to work up top. Hit as he throws. Intercepted. A first-half turnover can swing momentum. Good gain on the return, and this defense has set them up with a big play.
And he makes a play in the back end. Nice job reading the pass, and that's his second of the season. This guy, unbelievable job seeing the quarterback, breaking on the quarterback, and going and getting that big play.
This drive will get started from the 37-yard line. Looking to throw on first down. And the defense, they've got him at the 27.
And you don't want to see this trend continue. Last week he was sacked 4 times. The offensive line, this offense as a whole, needs to get in better situations, get rid of the football faster, and not keep getting their quarterback hit.
The Mustangs with a long way to go after the loss on the last play. Bringing the heat. Blasted as he lets it go. And that's not the way they drew it up. It's incomplete.
Well, this quarterback started taking a couple shots from the pocket. There's another one right there that affected his accuracy on that throw.
Just a few seconds remaining here as they try to put something up before halftime. On 3rd and long, he'll need to loosen up that arm. He uncorks a bullet to the right. He can't find his man, and the clock stops with 6 seconds left. And the Mustangs will punt it away on 4th down. Defense didn't maintain its discipline there, and they get into the neutral zone. It'll cost them 5 yards. So the decision has been made, and the coach will take the penalty. The Mustangs send out the punt unit. 3 and out, they got stuck in reverse. They hope the punt can bail them out. They'll knock him down, and that'll take us to halftime. That's going to wrap up the first half here, and now we join Kevin with the halftime update. And the Mustangs will kick it off to start the second half. And no chance at a return here. They'll start this drive at their own 25. And here comes the Nebraska offense back onto the field. First drive of the second half, always fun to watch. You see what type of tweaks were made at the half, especially when you're locked up in a ball game like this one.
Yeah, and it's been a good game. I mean, it's been a little bit of back and forth and a feeling out process. And now once you get in the second half, who's going to get aggressive, Palmer? Who's going to take some shots, try to make some plays, and really go for it?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think as play callers right now, you learn a lot about these coaching staffs with respect to who does make the best adjustments. There's a lot of coaches that believe we're just going to be who we are. We're going to keep doing what we do. We're just going to do it better. But then there are others that tweak things a little bit on offense and on defense. We're going to find out here.
And that's just a timing route. And if I'm a quarterback and they're going to sit back in zone, when I run those crossers, man, I just wait for that zone window to open up, anticipate it a little bit, chunk that thing, and let my receiver do the rest of the work.
The offense getting set for a first down from the 45. Looking downfield on first down. And the quarterback will take a sack back at the 36.
Man, this defensive end is a monster. I mean, you've seen his athleticism and his speed and his bend and his flexibility. He now has 2 sacks, and there's still a lot of football to play.
And the Huskers now with a long way to go to pick up the first down. Wants to fire on second down. Grabbed in the middle. It's Bell. Knocked off his feet. The Huskers are in the hurry-up. Plows through the defense. That'll get the job done and move the chains, and they'll mark the ball at the 45.
And this is a guy that can find you the hidden yardage. That play, he just pushes the pile to get that first down.
The Cornhuskers have their offense in high gear. Toss to the outside. He is going nowhere. Stop at the line of scrimmage.
That back had absolutely nowhere to run the football. Actually, is he counting? I think he's counting to make sure there's only 11 guys on defense.
They got nothing on the last play. It's 2nd and 10. Looking to fire. And it's picked off for the 3rd time today. And he's wrapped up after a solid return on the pick.
And this guy's just never been able to get into a rhythm all game long, whether it's been... pressure, the defense disguising their coverages, it just doesn't seem right. And as a result, he's now thrown 3 picks in this game.
The Mustangs have the ball back and ready to go to work. They had to punt it away on their last possession, but man, what great field position this time.
I mean, this is awesome. Like, last possession didn't go great. Now you're set up with an opportunity to get some points. Start thinking about what plays I like, Jesse, as I cross the 50.
There are a lot of offensive coordinators out there, David, and in this position, they like to take a shot right away and try and capitalize on this field position.
The Mustangs can play this second down a lot of ways with just a few yards to go. Dropping back, it's Owens. Hauls it in. They bring him down, but not before he's able to pick up the first down. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. Might be changing the route. Wants to go up top on first down. Nowhere to go with the ball, and down he goes at the 39. Tough linebackers getting after quarterbacks. The Huskers have a rich tradition of that.
Yeah, and you think about the black shirts, and you hear that if you're a Nebraska fan, you know exactly what that means. Guys that are different, guys that see it, that hunt it, that go get the football like this guy just did.
And the Mustangs have put themselves in dire straits after that last play. It's 2nd and a mile. Wants to go up top. The short hands, it's Knight. And they get to him and knock him down to prevent a bigger gain.
That's why the bullet pass is so important. Sometimes these defenses, they don't give you big windows to throw into. You want to take that chance, but you cannot lob that football down the field and get it in there. Nice use of the bullet pass, my friend.
Passing game very effective on second down. What about here on third? Looking to throw, and he needs a bunch. Unloads to the wideout. What a job to lay out and make the catch.
Well, that's another completion. This quarterback's on fire. I get it. He's thrown for over 200 yards in this game, but it's because he's got people helping him out. How about that incredible job diving out, stretching out, and hauling that pass in? Quarterbacks love it when they don't have to be perfect every time they throw the football. And this group of receivers, they are helping out their QB1.
Pulled down at the 11-yard line as they inch closer and closer to pay dirt. It'll be second down, and remember, they can pick up a first without scoring. From the gun, the running back has it. Touchdown, SMU! And that one will give them the lead.
Another rushing touchdown. That's now 2 on the game. This offense thought they could come into this one running the ball, being the more physical team, and they look like it right now.
And he tacks on the extra point. Kickoff unit on the field, and this defense will be called on to protect this lead. Coming out with it, it's Bell. Gets it out to the 20, about 5 yards short of where he'd be if he'd just taken a knee in the end zone. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. A lot of field in front of them as they open this possession from their own 20. Off the play fake on first down, wants to throw. Got a man, it's Booth. And he's brought down after a nice gain. How about the zip this junior put on that ball to pick up the first down?
And a great job by the QB finding the running back, getting the football where he can do some damage after the catch, and most importantly, get the first down.
And this set of downs gets started from the 33, first and 10. One man in the backfield, and he gets it. Breaks the tackle. At the 45 on his way. They'll get him down at the 48 after the 15-yard gain.
And that's good enough for a first down.
That's the end of the period, and SMU has the lead. And we've reached the end of the third, and time is running out if they're going to cut into this deficit. Let's take a look at our game stats before we move on. Here comes the fourth. Time to see who steps up, who makes the winning plays to take home that W. They'll go back to work with a first down in the final period. This is a designed run. Knocked down in the backfield, and boy, this guy's had a good day, but they finally get to him on that run.
That's how you come up and make plays as a defense, man. Playing physical, playing downhill. They've given up some plays today, man. He's got over 100 yards on the day. He's really had some success. But on that play, really downhill, really physical, and a nice job getting him to the ground.
Lost one on that last one. It's second and 11. Back to pass. Got it in the middle. It's Bell. Really putting together a threat now. They get the first. It's at the 37.
Really nice job on that play. Quarterback and receiver being on the same page. Quarterback not telegraphing the throw, and the receiver does a nice job finding the soft spot in the defense, just settling down and giving his quarterback a nice target to throw to.
in search of that tying touchdown. They've moved the chains a couple of times. It's 1st and 10 again. Looking to throw on 1st down. And this will be incomplete. A big hit there forces 2nd down.
And that's your goal. Separate man from ball. Try to get your shoulder in there on the catch point and really give him something to think about. Physically jar that football and knock it out. Nice job by the defender.
Misfired on the last play. They'll go back to the air. Wide open downfield. A huge chunk play as he gets it all the way down to the 11.
Brought down at the 11-yard line. And 1st down for the offense.
And the Huskers have it with a 1st and 10. He'll ride his man on the option. He's brought down at the 7-yard line, and they are threatening to take it in.
This offense is perfectly fine with a little game because they're going to make you tackle this all game long. They're going to make you think all game long. So they'll keep running it ad nauseum and just wait for that one opportunity.
Touchdown, Cornhuskers! Quick strike through the air for the score.
And this offense continues to have some success. And I'll tell you what, when it gets down to it and you need a play, they're starting to find this playmaker. You can tell the QB looks for him. That's 3 TDs now in 4 games, and I think they'll keep feeding the big fella.
And a little pressure, no problem. The extra point ties the game here in the 4th. They're getting set to kick it away, and that last score took a little oomph out of this crowd. And it'll come out to the 25. No attempt at a return. They go to the Wildcat here, looking to take advantage of that extra blocker. The quarterback just lost track of the play clock, didn't get the snap off quickly enough. He wants to change this route. Back to throw, it's Owens. Catch in the middle, it's Knight. They stop him almost immediately. Short gain there, and still a little ground to cover to pick up the 1st.
And quarterback receiver on the same page. Nice job seeing the zone, understanding the drag route concept. Easy pitch, easy catch.
Backed up now, here's 2nd and long. Looking to fire. And they get to the quarterback and knock him down back at the 16.
Man, that's a great example of KYP. Know your personnel. A QB that doesn't run great, trying to get outside the pocket. Nice job by the defense applying pressure and running him down and getting the huge loss.
Now a lot of work to do to move the chains, keep this drive alive after that earlier sack. On 3rd and long, he'll have to turn it loose deep. Throws to the wideout. Got his man downfield. He'll have enough to move the chains. It's 1st down at the 38. This dude is just exceptional in every facet. So fluid, such a great route runner, and a big play there.
And money down, 3rd down, find him. I mean, you want to find that matchup because he's going to win. And gets a good release, gets down the field. You see that's your playmaker, that's your guy. Get it to him, get the 1st down.
To the air on 1st down. With the catch, it's Cooper. They make the stop, but not before they do their work up top and pick up a 1st down. That big pickup on what they call the drag route, but if you hit it on time, you can hit the turbo boosters.
And you've got to be accurate on the throw too, Reese. Nice job by the QB there, putting it out in front of his receiver to make an easy catch and then advance it.
Quarterback may change this route. Linebacker shuffling around, trying to keep the quarterback from getting a read. Finds his man. It's Cooper. He's brought down quickly. Minimal gain there. Still a bit short of the first down. The clock has stopped for the timeout, and we have reached the final 2 minutes in this one. Still some work to do after that last completion at second down. They'll run it from the gun. He breaks a tackle. Didn't get much done on that run. He'll fight his way out and maybe pick up a yard.
I think the run defense, a lot of times late in the game, you always wonder how well it'll hold up. Nice job on this play by this defense, getting in and getting the running back on the ground.
They'd love to make this kick easier by picking up a few on third down. It's 56 yards out from here. Back to throw, it's Owens. The short hands, it's Cooper. He works his way inside the 30 down to the 29 and picks up a first down.
And they've trusted their QB to throw the football. And he's going to have to make plays. He's made plays throughout the day. This is now when you come up clutch in a big moment when your team needs it. If that's any indication, I like what I'm seeing.
The Mustangs will have it 1st and 10. Brought down after a good pickup, and they're in the red zone at the 20.
And this offense doesn't have very many runs left in them. They try to sneak in the run. Nice job by the defense making the tackle. But they've got to try to maximize their time, maximize their plays to try to get some points on the board.
And the Mustangs with a 2nd and short to keep this drive moving. They'll try the run. And he's knocked down, but there's also laundry on the field. We'll see what the officials have called. The officials offer the deal, and the coach accepts it. They will take the penalty. They'll line up for a 2nd down play. Quarterback adjusting the pattern. 2nd down, they'll go to the air. Almost a D lineman's dream, but he couldn't hang on. It'll be 3rd down.
3rd and long, defense knows the pass is coming, so they're going to have guys with their eyes on the QB, but they're going to try to get to him with pressure, pinning their ears back. If you're on offense, you might be thinking blitz here. You better get rid of this one quick.
9th play of the drive coming up, but this one will be tough. 3rd and long. From the gun, wants to pass. Fires left. This time it's complete. How about the zip this junior put on that ball to pick up the 1st down?
And they've trusted him to throw the football all game. I expect nothing to change whatsoever. They're going to put it on his back or his arm, I guess you could say, and let him throw this team to victory. It's a close game, tight game. I'm rolling with my best player.
Out of the gun, the running back has it. And there was nowhere to go, just stopped in his tracks in the backfield. Quick timeout by the defense there, trying to make sure everyone has the same call. After that last loss, it's 2nd and 12. Goes to the option. Wrestled to the ground, but he's inside the 10 and down to the 9. Timeout is called, and it's the defense wanting to make sure that everyone's on the same page for this big down. Boy, they'd love to pick up this conversion and go to work with a 1st and goal. An unforced error there. They don't get the snap off in time. The delay of game pushes the offense back. Not much time left, but the offense has a shot to end this one in regulation. Quarterback making adjustments. To the air, it's Owens. And they can't complete the bullet pass on third down.
And the offense got themselves in a tough situation. Third and long, so hard to execute, especially when the field starts to shrink. But the good news is they got a field goal in their back pocket.
It is good. You understand the celebration after taking the lead, guys, but this thing is not over yet. So the kickoff team is out there ready to boot it away after putting up a field goal. Let's see what the defense can do. And no chance at a return here. They'll start this drive at their own 25. The drive starts from their own 25-yard line. Wants to throw on first down off the play fake. Here comes the heat. And he can't get it off. Taken down. What a huge play this late in the game. That last sack got them behind the sticks. It's second and long here. Looking up top, and time is of the essence. Here's a throw downfield late. Found a bunch of room and got it to the 44-yard line. Timeout called by the offense. Clock stopped with 21 seconds left.
Nebraska.
That big play is just what they needed. Now they have it first and 10 just outside the 40. Wants to throw on first down. Makes the grab. It's Ives. And he'll get out of bounds. It's a first down there in plus territory, and now threatening to get the score. The upset's been bubbling all day. Now at a full-fledged boil. Guys, see if they can finish it off.
Can the underdog hold on? That's the big question right now. They've done so many positive things in this game, David, to put themselves in position to win, but this is the critical moment where your execution has got to be at its best.
And sometimes you start thinking now, and you start letting that clock tick, and you stop kind of playing carefree. Keep doing what you've done all day long to build the lead, finish this thing out.
Turning it on! And he'll step out of bounds after a very productive play.
And I think this receiver's forte is his route running. He's a guy that can line up all over the field, but it's not just catching post routes and goes. This guy can run shallows, he can run slants, he can run the option routes and find soft spots in the defense. This guy really has all the routes in his toolbox.
To the air on second down. Grab near the sticks. It's Ives. He gets it inside the 20 and out of bounds at the 17.
Out of bounds at the 17. And that's a first down for the offense.
The Huskers will snap it on first and 10. They're in the red zone, and they'll pass it. Got it in the middle. It's Bell. Works his way to the 4-yard line, and they'll have it first and goal.
Near the 4-yard line. First and goal, Nebraska. Number 16 on the field goal.
Oh, that one will leave a mark. No good. And after the miss, they're still down by a field goal. When we get to the offseason and they start having coaching clinics, they're going to roll this game tape back to show both offenses.
dial it up and let it run. I mean, that's essentially what we saw in this game. It didn't matter what either offensive coordinator was calling. Everything seemed to work through throwing the football in the intermediate passing game, the RPOs, the run game, David. This was just clinical offensive football.
And offenses have evolved so much. They can do so many different things, and they know how to use their playmakers, get speed and space, make those big plays. So that's why offenses are ahead of defenses in this game. It was no different.
Thanks so much for spending some time with us. For David Pollack and Jesse Palmer, I'm Reese Davis, and this has been another presentation of EA Sports College Football.